Well, hi there. Hi, I'm Kathy Crow. This is the Crow Cottage, and I'm sorry I'm late today, ladies. I had no idea time was getting by me. I am playing with Honeybee Home, so this is the set I'm going to use today, and I hope that you share this video and you enjoy it and you get some. I'm going to do a couple of extra things today. Normally, I would probably do just one project, especially since this one's going to be a little complicated. I think you're going to really like it. I don't remember who did it now. I saw somebody had done it. Maybe I wrote it down on the inside. It's possible. But I made a nice little belly band to go with it because I thought that that would be fun to do with this suite. And then I'm using this paper. Hi, Tracy, or Trudy, sorry. I'm used that, what is it, On the Horizon or whatever, the Horizon's DSP. It's really pretty. So anyhow, we're going to just do a little trifold folder. Now I don't see my sticky note inside. Usually I put, you know, when I see it on someone's side and then copy it, I want to, you know, give them credit, and I put a little sticky note on it, but I forgot to do that. All right. So what I did with this belly band folder today is I used, let me get a piece of it after I put this belly band back on top. It's, you know, those are always just a little, they have to be a little snug to keep it all closed. And this has like a horizon on it, and I'm covering that, you know, so that I'm just getting this. So anyhow, this ribbon, right? Let me clip off a piece of it so you can see what I'm talking about. This lace. Now, have you used your lace? I bet all of you bought it just like I did as soon as you saw it, because it's, you know, just the kind of thing that we really like, right? But then I haven't used a lot of it, and partly it's because when I go to put it down on cardstock, I put down the tape, you know, put that, and then it's always sticky. And glue wasn't any better. Glue dot's not any better. What I did today is I went ahead and I just stitched it on the back because I'm going to use this. I'm using some of the strands of that gold thread that we've got as a, you know, as a tie around, and then the rest of it I used to stitch that ribbon right on here. You know, really sloppy. You can see I didn't take a lot of time. It just has to stay on it all. It doesn't even have to look like neat stitchery. It just needs to be on there, and then my ribbon will cover how sloppy I stitched it, because I am no seamstress, that's for sure. It's not my first love. All right, today is February, so there is still some of celebration still going on. Make sure that you get in there, buy your stuff. You get free things the more you buy. If you're looking for a team, please join our team. Today, what we are doing, another thing is, we did a little easel card for our team for a Valentine's project, because that's the sort of thing that we do with our team, is we have fun. So I sent out a kit of the supplies, mostly. Usually there's something that you'll cut out of your own stuff, but not always. So anyhow, but it is very, very fun to do that as our team, as we talk about other stuff that's going on in the Stampin' Up! World and in our own personal world. Okay, I'm trying to get my sound off. I think I managed to, but I still hear it a little bit. My computer's over here acting like it doesn't want to let me get down to the very bottom where my X for that sound is. So, oh good, I'm glad you like this DSP, Trudy. Are you talking about the Horizons? Isn't it gorgeous? Love that. It is so pretty. I only bought one pack, but I'm tempted to get another pack because I'm afraid it's going to, you know, go on back order. And here are my little needles that I couldn't find my big eye needle. So I actually had a bit of a challenge stitching that on there. Because now here, you're going to see right here, it's kind of sloppy. I took all of the little sentiments because I wanted to have something ready, and I wanted it embossed, and I did it with copper because I thought that it would match nicely the color of the DSP that we're doing today. And it does. But I was in such a rush because I had just realized I am going to be late. Hi, Andy. Oh, good. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for joining me. I was in such a rush. I put the embossing buddy all over it, but not good enough. So some of these are useless. Even though they're all embossed and ready to be cut out, but I don't know how much of that I'm going to be able to use. I also took my embossing buddy first and did this. These are going to be cut out. Oh, I see a little part of this guy's wing that didn't get melted. So excuse me for just a second while, what happened to my, my embossing thing is overheated. I shoved it down in there and it's like, I'm not going to start up again until I've cooled off. So I guess I'll just have to put it on the side so I don't ruin that one. But I did these with silver. The bees that I did for this card earlier, and I like how they turned out, was fine. I don't know if you can see them very well, but I stamped them with gray granite and then colored them. And I kind of lost some of the detail with them. I had to go over them again, and I wasn't really happy with that. So I figured, I think we'll go ahead and emboss. But I see there's 2 wings I didn't quite get done. So I'm going to stick them on the side here. And don't let me forget, I need to hit those with the embossing gun again before I start messing with them too much, or they are going to not be usable. And a halfway embossed image is not any use to me or to you. All right, so let's see here. Let me try to, my camera looks askew. I'm not sure if I'm making it better or worse. Okay, probably I made it better and worse. It looks like I did. I'm gonna shove this up here, and then maybe I'll be more in the frame. There we go, that looks better. All right, so Honeybee Home. I have been waiting and waiting to use you. I've been messing around with Crane of Fortune and I've really enjoyed it. It was fun, but as I finished using it, I realized some of these images will go really nicely with this set, and the sentiments will too. So anyway, I've still got it on my desk just in case I want to use it, but we'll see. Now today's project that I'm going to start with is actually a Kylie Bertucci. She just did this. I just saw it on her blog. And I've got this somewhere like this, but not necessarily with this. So I really like this idea. Basically all we're going to do is we're going to take one sheet of cardstock. Let me grab a piece. And we're going to cut it in half, right? So let me get it in here. We'll cut this in half, and then we're going to use at 5.5. We'll cut this piece of cardstock right in half. And then I'm going to score one. Oops, no, that's not what I'm going to do. I kind of forgot how to do it. Okay, this is correct, though, for the start. I'm going to score this one at 4.25. I did this before, and because it looks like that's how it's going to go, but it doesn't, because I need it to, as you can see, the folds need to go this way. So it's fine for this part that goes down, but I need it different to go the other way, right? So what I am going to do, so I need basically 2 more pieces here. So I can use, a bigger sheet, but I'm going to be cutting it a different direction. So I'll need to cut this one, instead of 5.5, I need to cut this one at 4.25. And that just cuts it in the other direction. Now that still isn't going to work because, is that right? Because I don't want it to be, yeah, no, that is correct, because now my fold is, yeah, okay. So now we're going to do the score at 5.5. If I can find, did I lose my score blade always falls out, so I take it out so it doesn't just go flying across the room. And I have a little tray I keep it in, but then if I don't put it in that little tray, I'm totally lost. Oh, I need to do this one too. Score this one at 5.5. I'm finally getting over my germs. I got a runny nose still, so sorry if you hear me sniffle and snort. If I have to, I'll have to I'll have to leave the room and go below my nose. Who knows? It's been not too bad. Actually, it's been really easy to get over, but it's annoying, you know, to be constantly rubbing your nose. Okay, so now that we have that part, let me grab my over on the side here so I have it handy. All right. Okay, now let's fold it. Yeah, let's fold it. Wherever you cut, I don't know about you, but it does make a nice fold on the side that goes down, and then it's kind of got a ridge there. And I like to put that ridge down. I don't really like having it up. So we're gonna put that one behind us, and we'll flop this one over. This is gonna be a little bit thick. I understand that, but I want these to all be connected because it's just gonna make a much stronger card. So I'm putting it sandwiched, but I'm not doing it that way. I'm just kind of making sure it's gonna be pretty close to the right size. Because you always cut stuff just slightly off, you know. That's the way it goes. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and glue these two together. I could use my tape, but I like glue. My tape is fine, but I actually just prefer glue because it's stronger, I think. I don't know, maybe it's not. That glue or that tape is really strong too, but. All right, so I'm just not going quite exactly to that fold, but almost. And I know why I don't like the tapes, because I never get it on perfect, and then I have to shift. With the glue, I can shift a little bit. For a little bit, not very long, but a little bit. Now, one side's probably gonna be a little shorter than the other. I'm gonna put the longer side behind, and then I'm gonna close this down, because I wanna make sure that it's gonna fold over the top. So you do end up always having this little lip, you know, but it doesn't matter because, oh, I forgot, this is gonna go inside anyway because these are coming on the outside. Okay. I'm getting two different designs mixed up because when I made this, copied this one from her, that's when I decided to do this. So actually, that's probably why there's no name on it. I think this one I just, you know, thought, well, I'll do it the other direction because I know I've done it before that way. These are not new designs at all, unless you are new. If you're new to Stampin' Up, then they would be new to you probably too, or new to card crafting in general. But when you've been doing it a long time, these designs, you've done them so many times, it's part of the reason I shouldn't get slack, but I get a little slack in giving credit because I look at so many things. And then unless I write down that name right then, I have no idea who it was from. And that's actually not very nice. I need to not do that. If it's something that they made like pretty recently. Now this one, like I said, was one that I saw on Kylie's stuff just this last week. So I made sure I put a sticky note on it. It's like pretty obvious that you got this idea from her. She has a lot of really good ideas. All right, there we go. And she's been making some really neat things with that New Horizons paper, hasn't she? Have you been checking that out? All right, now all we need to do for now is we need to get our little flaps going on the side. So what I need to do always when I'm copying something that someone has made, I make a prototype, and that takes a little time, but not a ton. If it's really complicated, I need a tutorial generally. But if it's not too complicated, I can just look at their picture and figure it out. And then I make, like I said, I make a little prototype. And then I'm going to keep this with me as I'm going through here because I always forget which direction I'm cutting things. So just to be sure, I know I'm cutting this part off. I'm keeping this nearby. So you're going to put this corner here in your cutting track and this corner down on the other side of your cutting track, right where you want to have those points. And then you can just trim that off, and there's one arm right there. Okay. Now I did cut it the wrong direction. It doesn't matter. This is going to be covered. And what I mean by wrong direction is that you can see there's this little lip, because I cut it on this side, forces the paper to make a slight curl down, which is really nice. It just gives a nice finished edge on this side where I cut down. But this is going to be going this way, and I can just barely kind of see it's a raised edge. It's a small point, but it's just something that bugs me if I don't do it right. All right, so this one, I'll do it the right way. So this is the side that's going to be up, so I would want to have it in my, face up on my cutting track. And I'm looking at my card to make sure I'm getting the right side cut. I'm going from here to here. Okay, so from there to that point, A to B. All right, and now, oh, I did it wrong. How did that happen? Ladies, we are going to either have to start all over again, or I'm going to have an envelope. Now, I could just turn this into an envelope, and hey, I might have to do that today because look at you. You cut it the wrong way, you ding-dong. Huh. Okay, so this, I am going to save this for another project because I'm not going to do an envelope. I don't want to, and I'm going to have to start all over again. Sorry. But this will make a really cute little project later. Maybe I'll even do it later in this video. I doubt it very much now that I've taken too much time just doing this. As I was cutting it, I should have been listening. I probably could have almost heard all of you saying, no, you're cutting it the wrong way. All right, so we'll do it again. So 5.5. This part should go a little faster. 5.5, score at 4 1/4. And we will try it again. If you were listening to me last week at all, I heard you heard that we just got back from our trip from California, and it was really nice. But man, our Springfield weather is wonderful right now. It was cold and snowy when we got back. Okay, 4 1/4 and 5.5. But the snow has not gone off of the sides. We've got really pretty nice snowman making weather out there because the temperatures are in the mid-30s to mid or upper 40s. It's beautiful. And where's that other part that I just cut? There you are. I'm going to have to get rid of all my extras now because now this is the one I'm copying supposedly. I don't want to move that away. But they are good at getting the snow off the roads here. This is the first winter we've been here, so I was curious about that because back in our good old Washington State, when I was in the Tri-Cities and when I lived in Spokane, they were notoriously bad. And now that I'm here and seeing how they handle it here, I'm going to just say, okay, you were no terribly bad. I'm like, seriously. So, yeah, it's like almost like being in, growing up in a bad family. You never really know how bad it is till you marry into a good family, and then suddenly you're saying, I knew you guys did things poorly, but seriously, you were really rotten, because even a halfway decent person apparently knows not to be behaving the way you were. So I am really enjoying being able to drive all over and see beautiful snow and walk in beautiful places with snow, but I do not have to drive in it. It's been very, very enjoyable. One of the reasons I've never really liked snow is because I'm a real coward when it comes to driving in it. So I've been really enjoying it. It's been good. All right, and actually they drive really carefully here in the snow. When we first moved here, we were shocked at how reckless some of the driving was here. But they're really super cautious in the snow, much more so than than they were from our old places. All right, so again, let me check to see which, this is the longer one, so we'll put that one on the top. We'll try this again. I promise you this is the last time. If this turns into an envelope, we are just doing it as an envelope and not doing it the way I expected to. This is the way card making is. Oops. A lot of times you start out with an idea, and like in this case, even when you have one in your hand that you're copying, it's like I knew what I wanted. It's almost like when you're trying to learn to play the piano. You keep telling, you hear it in your head. You keep telling your hands, do it, fingers. This is exactly what I want you to hit that note, and doesn't matter how many times you practice sometimes. Wow, they're just not fast enough or good enough, or just for some reason that coordination just doesn't quite work. All right, one more time. We'll try it again. Get the cutting board up. This time I'm going to shut up so I can do this right. All right, so on this side, we're cutting this end off. I think what messed me up is my flipping things over. So I am not going to do that. We're going to cut the wrong way from the inside to the top, just to make sure I get this correct. Because that one folds this way, and this time I want to cut this part off. So it has to go. Oops, I better not do that. Let's do this. Am I doing it right? Yes. Okay, so I want this one here. This end there. This end there. You do have to be careful to get your points right where you want it. I'm just eyeballing it to make sure, yeah, I am cutting off this top part. Whew, got it. Wow, that shouldn't have been so complicated with that, but it was. There's a tiny gap, which is okay. It's a teeny tiny gap, but it is created just because I have these extra layers in here it's having to fold onto, which is fine because we're going to be putting DSP on there anyway in a cardstock. All right, so what I did is I took our Honeybee home paper, and you're going to love this paper. It's really pretty. What do you guys think? Have you got it? I like it. I think the main reason I like it so much is because these are my two favorite patterns right here on the top. And this is the one we'll be using primarily for the other card. Isn't it gorgeous? I think if you took your bee stamp, let me find, oh, I don't have one handy here. But I think if you did take any of your bee stamps, they are going to match. They do. Pretty close. They're not perfect, but pretty close. Is that one perfect? Yeah, it is, I think. Well, no, it's not perfect. I don't have a big one handy. This one looks almost perfect. I think the big one's the closest. You could probably take, I'll have to try it. Let's take our big bee stamp. I just want to see if this really works. I wonder if my embossing machine. I have another embossing gun if I need it. I want to see if this is going to fit on here. Oh, he's just a little too big. If he was the exact same size, you could even stamp right on your bee and do embossing, do some gold embossing on him. That would have been cool, but he's a little bit big. But at any rate, there's these papers. They're very pretty. I'm sure you've seen them all over the place. But the thing I like best about them, this is good. It's what I'm using today. There's this purple posy paper. Very nice. But on the back of them this one's got a really nice misty moonlight, it looks like. On the back of all of them are these wonderful wood grain, all different patterns of them, and they're all the same in that they have, they're stamped with basic gray probably. Oh, you have the Honeybee home bundle too. Good, Trudy. I'm glad you're going to enjoy this today then. You could take your ink, and color this up to make it any color you wanted to, as long as it was a light color. Just bray your color over it to get a very light colored wood. So you could do any colored wood background from any of these sheets. And it is a cardstock. I think the last time in our taste of what is it? It's touches and textures, or taste of something. There is really nice wood grain in that one too. And it also is a cardstock. All right. What I did to do these is I just took, you know, one of these sheet and cut a 5.5 piece out, and then cut it by 4 1/4 like this. So I ended up with a little, this is the end because you get 2 of those, and then you have an end piece. But I wanted a different color of flowers. These are really pretty, but for this card, I wanted it to be a different color. So for this one, I did Flirty Flamingo. But then when I finished that, I thought, no, I don't think I really want Flirty Flamingo. It's pretty, but I think for this card today, we're going to do something different. Not Flirty Flamingo. So I got out my Purple Posy and did that instead. So I've already cut out, I just colored the Purple Posy very sloppily, really, on it. You can kind of see how sloppy. I just dab just a little bit, and a little of the lightest Purple Posy, lightest saffron, and then we'll just glue this on here. These are going to go, I just cut these 4 1/4 by 5.5, and they are going to overlap on this a bit. I think it's going to be okay. I'm not too concerned about it. We'll find out as we go. If it's a bit bulky, I can trim, right? The last time we went down to California was right, like weeks after COVID had been. We'd already had this trip planned, and I wasn't about to get rid of it because our granddaughter had just been born just months before, and we'd actually delayed getting there in the first place because I didn't want to, you know, rush a new mom and you know, all that. And oh boy. Anyway, that trip ended up being, in my view, a real fiasco because I didn't hardly see the baby at all. I was really disgusted. I'm sure I let everybody know. I don't recall. But at any rate, my daughter felt really bad about it, I know. And so she just really went overboard this time. I said, I'm going to have to send her a gift. I'm trying to think of what I can send her. It'll probably be some Target thing, because now that she has a little baby, it's hard to get around and do much. And where they live, they're in such restriction. It's sad. It's very sad. Coming back here was like, oh, such a breath of relief to get back to freedom. But there, it was pleasant to be with family and wonderful weather. But oh man, so glad we do not live there. What a sad thing California has become. It used to be really, I think, one of the nicest states to live in. It used to be. All right, so I'm just doing this. I'm kind of trying to leave my edge on one of these sides. I know it looks a little crooked. It's okay. The outer edge is straight. So I'm purposely doing that because I know there's going to be overlap here anyway. And that way, if I need any trimming to go on here, because the problem is, as you can see, the points are always going to stick out. Because I put a mat on it, the points are going to stick out. I deliberately did not cut it down. Now, if you don't want points and you want it to end in a perfect little spot, because I'll end up trimming some of this off. But if you do not want to do that, then the way to do it is to just reduce it by about 1/4 inch. So you would cut your mat board would have been 4 1/4 by 5.5, and your DSP would be 4 inches by 5 1/4. Okay, and then you just cut it in half to get your parts and layer them on. Just make sure that you're cutting it in half in the correct diagonal manner, or you end up having to do it 2 times, which is something I oftentimes have to do. So I'm eyeballing it to see how it's going to look. It's actually going to look just fine. One part is going a little high there, higher than I want. I do want this center to be pretty even. So I'm just looking to see how that's gonna go. It looks pretty good. It's gonna overlap just a tiny bit and I don't care. It's gonna be all good. So we went everywhere. Oh my, we went to, oh boy, we went to a petting zoo at Griffith Park. And I asked the kids had so much fun. It was the most fun thing and very reasonably priced to do all kinds of pony rides and petting zoo, ride a little train. They had a blast. It was a perfect weather the whole time we were there. And I asked my husband if his parents had taken him there when he was a kid, because it was such a neat place. He said no. Thought, my goodness, your parents must not have known about it, but if they did, he was, he was part of a very large family, and as you know how it is when you have a lot of kids, there are things you just can't afford to do, because if you have one kid, you could afford the one ticket or even 2 tickets, but to buy, in his case, for his parents, 7 tickets, 5 kids, 2 adults, it costs a lot. So I'm not too surprised they weren't able to do it. Okay, so I need to make sure one's going to go under the other. It's okay if this is a little overlapping because I want it to cover this ridge anyway, but not too much. So we'll get this one on. I'm taking a long time to get this going. I should be farther along here. I need to get on to the next project, so let's try to go a little faster here, okay? The problem is when I go faster, I start making mistakes. Do you do that when you're trying to rush and get something done? Do you think, why did I rush myself? Because I know that when I rush is when I start making terrible mistakes. Then I have to do it all over again, and then it really didn't help at all that I did things quicker, did it? Because I'm having to do it all over again. All right, there we go. All right, on this side, you can see how much that sticks out. Quite a bit. And if that really bugs you, just trim it off. And you can see it's a little bit crooked, so if you wanted it straight, you could straighten that line out. Get it down. Don't cut it too much because you do want it to overlap here at the front. But some is fine. This is not working here because I've got that issue. So we will trim, just a bit of trim right at that point. Okay, there. And I'll cut that right about, where do you go? There. That's a little tiny bit still sticking out. Let's get a little more of you off. That's better. And then this little bit right here, not much, just a tiny bit. Very good. And this is sticking out just a tiny bit too, so we can do this. And another thing you could do if it really bugs you a lot is you could round your corner some, but I don't think it's necessary. All right, so now we've got all of that done, and now on the inside, another thing you can do is you could just do some more beautiful DSP. You could do a different kind, you could do the same kind. Since I have to color it, I am not going to do the same kind. We're gonna wanna use, since we're using Purple Posy anyway, let's give this a try and see how it would look if I just laid this inside. Don't you think that'll be pretty? So we'll just cut a 5.5 by 4 1/4 piece of that and then stick that on there. I love these folder type cards. These what would you call them? We'll go 4 1/4 here because I want it to go up and down with the design. They're like I guess you could call them folder cards. They're like portfolios almost. You know, you could put all kinds of things in there. You can make a little pocket and put a gift card, just all kinds of stuff. I think we're gonna just do it like that. I need to trim it a bit. No, it looks pretty good, pretty even. I think I'm gonna, don't listen on the side here. You might hear something you don't like. I'm gonna put my magic solution on the back of this one because I need to slide it around a bit. I want to make sure that edge is right up at the top. All right, there we go. Perfect. And now you could stamp anything you want on the inside. I'm going to let your imagination go nuts on the inside because if I do that, I won't get to the next card. But you can stamp these on the side, you know, just all kinds of things. But we still aren't done with the front, so I want to get done with this. You're going to need something to keep it closed. So you can either do little magnets, you can do little Velcro strip. You know, I do have a magnet. I wonder if I have a new magnet. I've had old magnets that they just didn't quite work. So let's look in here. I think I might have some newer magnets. I don't really remember what I've got. I've got some newer Velcro. Well, these are centers. These are not even my magnets. Do you remember these from our flowers long ago? Those aren't even magnets. Here's a Velcro dot. This might work. We'll find out. I haven't had the greatest luck with these, but there's one. I should only need one. If I can get it to... There we go. Get you back on there. Okay, this one will stick right here. And then you have to find the matching one. And we'll put that on you. And put that down there. There we go. Oops. I'll have to cut it though. It's fine where it is, but it does need to have a trim so I can open my card still. Okay, there we go. All right, that worked pretty well, and it's pretty transparent. It's not too bad. I can live with that. So you can get these little Velcro dots on Amazon, I'm sure. I'm sure that's where I got it. I don't know. All right, let's see here. What we need is something really cute now on the front. So these designs are easy to put together, not hard at all to come up with something super cute. So let's start with I think these are snapdragons, or they're not foxgloves, because foxgloves have really big. They could be penstemons, right? Do you guys know? They're either penstemon or penstemon, or they are foxglove. No, snapdragons. Now, I like snapdragons myself. I think I'll just call them snapdragons. And penstemons are really pretty, but they're smaller. But I think our bees actually preferred them. So I'm using gray granite. I want something really light. Okay, and that is very, very light. Very cute. We're only going to do one. And let's see, what else do we want to do with that? I think we're going to just do part of this one. And if I don't like what I'm getting, we'll just do something else. Okay, we're going to just do part of the stem, not the whole stem. Kind of came down to there. And we'll go like that. And then we are going to be putting a sentiment right here, I believe. So I think I'll just leave it at that. I do in this set really like these little flowers that are just like a tiny little border. They are the ones that I'm putting on the inside mostly. This one, that's a great inside the card stamp. Now, since I'm gonna cover this part, I'm not gonna really worry about it too much. I want the color to match what I've got though on this card. So let's get out some Purple Posy. Let's get out, no, just Purple Posy. Where are you? Purple Posy and So Saffron. And I think for me, I'm gonna get out some mint for that green. And then if I need it to be darker, I can darken it up. I'm gonna use that mint first and see how it looks. Yeah, that's good. We just need to put a little bit of green in those stems. Yeah, the flower's gonna need a little bit of something else too, not just mint. I'm gonna have to pull something else in there that's very, very light. When we went to one of the parks in California with our daughter, the first one we went to, I'm sorry our older grandkids weren't with us yet because we never ended up having time to go back to it, which was unfortunate because there were little squirrels there, very cute, and they let us come right up. They let us feed them. They were really cute. This is Granny Apple Green. I just need a little bit more on these leaves right here. Just a little more green, but nothing too dark. So another visit, we'll get to that because oh, that was so cute. And then there was oh, so much overeating. Oh my goodness, the donuts. You know, that was another thing about Springfield. I was stunned at how many wonderful donut places there. I could only eat donuts and ice cream. I'd be in seventh heaven here. The problem is that I have to limit myself on that. Okay, Purple Posy. Let's just go all over with Purple Posy and kind of leave the opening at the top clear. I'm going to try to get this done quick so I can get to the other one. We'll just go around the edges a little bit on this one. This one, I don't know what I did. There's some detail there that I missed, so I'll just use my color to kind of fill that in. And let's just do the tips with Purple Posy on this one. What is this flower? People in Stampin' Up, they always, I love flowers, but I guess, I don't know what my problem is. Because I do like to know the names of things, but flowers are maybe by form oftentimes mixed up in different kinds, and so it's like, well, you know, I could find out exactly what it was and all, but I might not even want to know because it might limit what colors I might think I could do with it. This looks to me like some of the fun little spider asters or spider zinnias, right? But I doubt I would see many colors like this with that. And those wildflowers that you find that are not available in a nursery, oh my, some of the colors that you come up with those when they hybridize them with other stuff is pretty spectacular. So we'll just assume this is some weirdo because this is no Snapdragon I've ever seen, and yet it's going to work pretty well for my coloring here. Okay, so I'm just using the same, I don't think this is the dark one. This is still the light. Just going over it again darkens it up a little bit, and it can give you a little bit of definition here and there if you want it. All right, good enough. Now, let's see here. Oh, and the Mexican food. That was the first thing I told my son-in-law when we got there. It's like, we like all food. We just don't want to eat fish. And I really want to make sure we go to a good Mexican restaurant while we're here because here in Springfield, that is lacking. All right, so that being done, I've got some bees out already that I can use on this, so I think I won't mess with my bees right now. We are going to want, I think I just need a little cute label that's not going to be too big because I don't want to cover up all my pretty card. And I think I want a circular thing, right? I do. I want something circular. Let's see what I've got. No, we have Stitched Shapes has a circle. And our Layering Shapes has a nice circle. If I can find you, where are you? The layering one is going to be maybe a little more useful for me because if I can find you, no. Now that I'm looking, I can see, what have I got? I've got this. I love this one. This is our Encircled in Beauty. I've been using this a ton lately. Let's see if it's big enough. This is a gorgeous one. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Perfect. So that's what we're going to want to use. So let's position it where I'm going to need to cut it out. Do this so I can cut that die. And then I don't think I'm going to even need the other cutouts that can go with this. I think that's going to be sufficient. I love this die set. It's really pretty. Alright, trying to put some things where I can find them. So hold on while I do that. Otherwise, I'm just constantly searching for everything, and that gets really annoying to you, and it gets really annoying to me. Okay. Alright, now we've got this out. And let's find all of my plates. There's that plate. And we'll lay you right on here. I don't really need room for things here, so we'll go ahead and I think I'll move it right on over to the edge. If I wanted to put my sentiment right on there, I could have moved it over a bit. This will be fine. I think that it cut out really good, but just to be on the safe side, I'm running through again. I don't want to have to cut out a whole lot around here. Oh, sweet. Love that. This has been a dream. I haven't, done anything to this. I haven't even run it with a dryer sheet or a waxed paper or any of the things. Now this little one, you can see there's some things in it. It's not quite as friendly, but this one, super friendly. Now, do I have anything else to cut out while I'm here? I don't think so. So let's just set this aside. Now, all right, this is gorgeous. And then where's my sentiments that I had? And I told you, make sure I don't think I need to worry about with this one. Okay, so we've got You're the Nicest. That one turned out okay. Stay Wonderful's okay. Miss You. Oh, that's a good one. I think I like that. So I should have... I probably shouldn't have gotten rid of my cutting machine because I'm going to want to cut that out with a label. Okay, so let's see, what have we got? We've got that. Probably will fit nicely. Let's do that. This is from there's a nice scallop. This is a bit bigger scallop. There's a smaller scallop, and I had the wrong name. I think I thought it was in the Slim Lines set, and it's not. The scallop, long, nice scallop, stitched scallop, is in another set, and I can't remember for the life of me right now what that one was. So this is just, I stamped this with the Versamark and did some some copper Stampin' Up! Powder, and already embossed this sentiment. So you know, let's clean this off. All right, there we go. That's better. Still got paper all over it though. There we go. All right, miss you. When we came back, it was like so quiet in our house. We spent 2 weeks in California with our family and their kids, and it's like, oh my goodness, it is so quiet here. It took my husband and I a few days to get back to feeling like, okay, this is nice. The quiet is nice. We forgot what it was like when you're a parent. You never get to experience it, you know, so it is actually really nice to get back to. But at first, it's deadly quiet. All right, and then of course we got snow right after too. So we were here just a few, maybe 1 week, I guess, because I got sick, so that was keeping me home. But then we were snowed in for 1 day. It really not snowed in, but I didn't want us going anywhere because since we'd never been here before in the snow, you know, they get terrible blizzards here, so I didn't want to be risking it. All right, so this is going to go here. This is going to be so cute right here, but I do think we're going to need just a little bit of this purple, you know, purple under here. Right there. You could do a belly band with it. It would be cute with that too. I don't know if I really want to use this though. It's a little darker than my purple posy, so let's just grab out some purple posy and glue this on here, and then I'll just trim around it. I'm not gonna try to do anything fancy with it. I could layer it with another stitched layered die and all of that, but we don't need to. Oops, I do want it straight up at the top though. Okay, very good. And I'll just snip. We'll stick that on there. I could, if I wanted to, kind of do round my corners because it's a scalloped thing. I think I might want to round the corners. Now where is my corner rounder? There you are. So let's do that. If they'll fit in there nicely. A little close on the bottom, but that's okay. All right, nice. That's better. And then I'm on the one that's on top. Let's see which way we're going. We're going to go like, are we going like this or are we going like this? I think we're going like this. Okay, so, oops. That goes there, that goes there. Okay, so because this one is actually on top, I'm going to have to adhere it here. In this case, I think we'll just go ahead and glue just here. And then for this one, we'll do a dimensional, and this one is done. I think I've got a couple of black dimensionals down here that are leftovers. Yes, let's use you. Get that sheet finished off. Do you also have a bunch of sheets of, you know, 2 or 3 dimensionals stuck on somewhere? I do that all the time. All right, there we go. It is cute. So this is going to go to my daughter. Thank you for giving us such a wonderful time in California. And her husband. I'll probably send them a gift certificate to Black Angus. It's his favorite restaurant. Oh man, it is pretty good. We went while we were there. It always is delicious. I don't think I did get a steak. It's always one of the best steaks I've ever had. Every time I always think, this is one of the best steaks I've ever had. And you just can't go wrong. All right, so that is that one. Now, so this was that plan. Let's get rid of this because that one is done. This plan is mainly the belly band. Let's just work on that belly band for a moment, shall we? So I took a piece of this DSP and just cut 1 inch strip right down. I'm not going to need it to be as long as it is, but I'll probably just live with it because since it's stitched on here pretty good, I don't want to loosen my stitching by trimming it. So I'll just make that do. But what you're going to want to do is have some of these labels. And I have used one of these. And I wonder if I have a scrap of cinnamon cider. I bet you I do. Yes, I do. So let's grab a scrap of cinnamon cider for this label right here. I'm going to need to cut out a couple of things. So that label I'll have to stamp before I cut. But this one I can just cut. And I don't have this. This is my ginkgo from Crane of Fortune. I do have a tiny bit, but it's not the right color. I used a copper sheet and did this ginkgo for that. I'm going to leave that off on this card, but it is kind of a nice piece underneath. Well, I might relent. We'll see. We'll see as we go. See how much time we have. We have spent 1 hour already, although not quite an hour since I was late getting here. So, oh well. I was planning every day to go get ice cream when we were in California. I would say, okay, today we're going to make sure we go down and have ice cream because there's an ice cream shop down there. And it's pretty close to Hermosa Beach, which is where we usually stay when we visit our daughter. It's not a Cold Stone Creamery, but it's very similar. But I'm telling you, it's the best ice cream I've ever had. But we're never getting there. So I'm using the next up one. This is the Scalloped Contours, and then this is the one I will be using, I believe, for the white label that's going to go under there. But I just want to run this through right now, get that done. So I'll have it ready to put that belly band together. The belly band is the part that is a little time consuming. Now that I've got it all stitched and ready to go with that ribbon, it shouldn't be quite so bad. Oops. This is what happens if you don't get rid of all your paper. On your die cut machine. All right. So are you guys enjoying all of the goodies from the Celebration? I haven't shown a whole lot of Celebration items. They are really good ones, though. It's not that I'm not showing them because I don't like them. They are wonderful. I did so much of them before in our pre-order. I did so many cards with that. These new ones are so cool that I haven't really wanted to spend the time on my Celebration items. I probably should be doing. All right, did I put dimensions on this? I doubt it very much, so let's look. See what I did. This one is exactly the same. You're only going to use one 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Now this piece, again, you're going to end up with a lot of thickness here, or you can do a very long piece, which is what I'm going to do this time. Okay, so I need to measure this out. So let's see. I could even just use my grid, couldn't I? I've got one right here. I always got grid here, and I forget to use them every time. So this is looking to me like 12 3/4 across. So let's just write this down so I do not have to remember it as we go. All right, so it's 12 3/4 across right here. That's not going to work because I have a 12 by 12, but I do have a white 14 by 17, but it's not Stampin' Up, but I do. It's not as thick as this. And I'm looking at my shelf right now. I don't even see it. It's there somewhere, but I'm not seeing it. So that solves that problem. Instead of even doing it that way, if you did, you would want to score it at 4 1/4 and at 5 1/2. But we're not doing that since I don't have my bigger paper handy. I am going to have to just cut 2 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 pieces and go like this. So it's not a big deal. It just takes more paper. And I am just using white, so it's not a problem. I might have to open up a new sheet. Let's see. A new package. I'm kind of running low there, it looks like. Okay, so first of all, let's come down a bit. Boy, my desk is a mess. 5 1/2. Let's get this accurate. 5 1/2. All right, so we've got those two, and then this one's going to be 4 1/4. And then we're going to score these at 4 1/4. And 4 1/4. And this one at 5 1/2. All right, now we can assemble. While we were in California, my daughter wanted to already had presents for a child who our kids got to attend their birthday party. That was super fun for all of them, and very gracious for them to allow us to do that. She wanted us to go to a dinosaur exhibit. I thought, oh, that'll be fabulous. I love dinosaurs. We've all loved dinosaurs. So that one's just a little bigger, so let's put that one on the back. I'm going to fold this the other way because there's just that tiny little black spot. I don't know if you noticed it right there, but I did. So we're going to put that down and go this way. The problem is I'm going to have to trim it because it's just a bit too, I don't know what I did, but I've obviously done like almost a whole 1/4 of an inch difference right there. And that's not going to work for me. So let's go ahead, just trim off, not a 1/4, it's not quite that much, but it's a pretty good amount. Let's see what this will do. Oops, that's my score blade. There you go, that's better. And so she got us extra tickets so we could all go to the dinosaur exhibit. We were all set, ready to go. We all were going to have a great time, blah, blah, blah. We got there. And they demanded to see our vaccine passports, which I thought, well, of course, I'm such a dope. I should have remembered this is a nutty state, and this is a museum. I'd forgotten, you see, that it was a museum. Any public group, you know, there is, or artsy group is going to be overcompensating. So I wasn't surprised. So those of us, which included me, of course, and a few others, didn't get to go to the museum dinosaur. We said, of course, go, have a good time. The kids could go. They didn't have to. Thank goodness. Oh my goodness. This vaccination thing for kids is absolutely bizarre. And so they all had a wonderful time. And then my daughter's husband is really sweet. Of course he's vaccinated. He's a dentist. So, but he was very incensed that they would demand to see papers. It's like you're in some kind of communist country. So, anyway, he didn't go in with them. He went to the took us to the coffee shop while they all enjoyed the dinosaur thing. It didn't last that long, so it worked out great. We had a wonderful time. It worked out great. And he's such a sweet guy. We had a great time. All right. There's always a yes. You know, in Jesus Christ, and somewhere in the New Testament, I forget, it's like one of Paul's letters. I don't know, Philippians, Colossians. No, I don't think it's Colossians. Anyway, it says in Christ, God's answer is always yes. Now that is a super, New Living Bible type version. So don't, or translation. So don't go by me. Look it up and see what it really says. But basically, it's the truth. I mean, if you are a good person and you are asking God how to do things for others, He oftentimes finds a way for people to enjoy themselves and have fun together, even if you have differences of opinion and you have different ways of doing things, you still can get together and enjoy it quite well. Now, I do have, what I maybe should have done is sandwiched this in between. I was talking and not really paying attention. You are going to put your paper on here, so it's not going to make such a big difference. You might have this happen. You might not. Let's see what's going to happen here. No, see, mine ended up better on this side. So it's just a matter of when you're cutting, scoring and cutting your paper, how carefully you do it is how well all that works out. Now we've got that done. So now that this is together, the rest is going to go along pretty easily. I'm just going to need to cut my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 honeybee paper for these two arms. And then I've already got my cinnamon cider cut for this piece. This is going to go right on here. So let's just glue that on. I think I'll use my surreptitious adhesive on the side here to do that one. I want it to go on perfectly, and since I'm a very flawed human, I need a little more wiggle time than my Tombow glue gives me. So I'll stick that down there. We'll stick this on here. And that is my adhesive. It's not my runny nose, I promise. It does kind of resemble that, so I thought I'd better make sure you weren't worried about it there, because you wouldn't want to do that. As that stuff dries, as that adhesive dries, you just rub it up and it's fine. Okay, it actually will disappear on there. It doesn't matter because I'm putting that New Horizons over that anyhow. But let's cut this right now. Get this on here. Get this show on the road. My daughter, I told her, okay, if you're going in there without us, make sure you take tons and tons of pictures then. And she did. She took lots of videos. Oh, they had fun. It looked really cool. So I'm sorry that I missed it, but on the other hand, oh well, I missed it. If I had known that I needed a vaccination, would I have gotten it? No. Absolutely not. So that's the breaks. Okay, there we go. I'm putting that on there. Let's see. This is going to be a bit wide, so let's trim this one down. This one was just almost like a shade short. So that's going to be on the inside. There we go. And I'd rather trim this down just a hair, right? Because that's going over. That one's on top. This one will be on top of that one, so that's fine. I don't want it sticking out at all, so I'm gonna just trim a little smidgen off of that. There we go. Better. Perfect. And then, because these are the same papers, even if there is an overlap, you can't see it, of course. That's why I'm doing it this way. They had some really good pictures from that dinosaur thing. They had an animatronic one where the little dinosaur eggs, you know, are opening up. It looked really fun. They had a really big one. They said right at the very beginning, our littlest grandkids were a little bit scared going in there, but they figured out it was fine quick enough. So I'm glad they had a good time there. There was, we went to Redondo Beach, has a pier, and then at the end of the pier is a little unknown aquarium. It's really cool. And that one is by donation, so we could get in there pretty inexpensively. And it was really quite good. When they're less restricted in California, you should go, because for now, all of the little tide pool creatures that they have in in a couple of really nice big tanks that kids can play with were off limits for now. But when they have that open again, it would be really fun to go back for us. I'm sure if our daughter and her husband stay there, we probably will be back. There we go. I guess I better pull that over. I don't want that. Better to have a white edge on that side than this side. Very good, very good. Okay, so that is that. And now all I need is that New Horizons paper. Oh man, this is so pretty. So this is the one I use. Let's see if I can find one that's, I want the same color. I think that's it right there. No, that's not it. What's on the back? Might be better off just looking in that direction. Maybe not. I've used a fair number of these sheets, but it comes with a bunch, so maybe I should have pulled it out ahead of time. After you've looked at this over and over again, they start to all look the same to me on the one side. It's like, well, I'm not really sure which one it was. There you are. Pretty close to the back. And now I'm going to have to get my other little packaging to keep these in now that I've taken it out of this plastic. I kept it in this flimsy plastic bag because I figured I'd be using it so quickly. I'll probably use it all up, but I do have a nice plastic sleeve I can keep it in. All right, so this one, I obviously, I don't know, there's that. This is not a flaw, it's actually in the design, but I don't want that on here. So the top is going to go this way. So I want more of this on. So I'm going to cut some of the top off first of all. I don't want as much of that dark blue showing. Although I guess it doesn't really matter, but I just don't. So I'm going to just cut some of it off. We'll go to 5.5 on that because I'm cutting it way down anyway. All right, so we're going to cut at 4 inches here. And then we want, I'll cut more of that blue. We're going to go 5.25. For that, that'll give us a nice edge of our cinnamon cider. Don't listen to what's going on the side. Ignore the man behind the screen. You know. All right, now let's see. Let's see how that goes. Perfect. See how quick it comes together when you just use a lot of DSP? When you've got some really pretty DSP, just be liberal in using it up because it's gorgeous. Now I'm going to set this aside. I want that to go really seal up really good before I start messing with this belly band. I can put the belly band around and see. I actually want to have the ends coming up front, because I'm going to use a tie also. And my other one was a little snug. So I don't want it to be quite as snug as it was. So let's do it about there. That's going to be a little easier on and off. And I'm going to just go ahead. Let's see. This is this. So probably trying to think. I actually like that side, but I think we're going to have this side on. No. We'll have to go this way. We'll have the, we'll move it around because I need it to. This is slightly skinnier apparently. Okay, so keep it pressed. You can, once it's on there pretty good, you can gingerly slide that off, and then you can just put a clip on there, clip it till it dries. It's on there pretty good. I don't think I need to clip it. All right, so the next part we are going to do is the pictures. Oops, that's not what I need. I need some of this for white. We're just going to do a couple more flowers, actually the same ones. And I do have my bees already done, so we don't have to take time doing the bees. I thought I had my flowers done also, but apparently I did not, so I'll do them again. So we're just using this one and this one. I'll just do a few here because I want to do this for the inside as well. And this set also has some really cute die cuts that I used as well that are just solid. They look pretty nice too. So when we get to the cutting out part, I'll probably do that as well. All right, I'm running out of time. I've got very little time. I don't want to go too terribly long because my camera is probably starting to scream right now with lack of power. Let me hook in my, if I can get it. Let me plug in my phone so that just in case it's starting to weaken. There we go. Just in case, I don't want to lose you like right at the last minute. That's a little discouraging for me. Here we go. Here's my gray granite. I kind of like gray granite for this background because I can color the stems green even though they're gray. Let's flop it over because that's not good enough. These are cut out, so don't worry if this happens. Now, this has been happening a lot to me because it's just too much rubber outside away from the actual image. So I will trim it off. I used to have to trim every single stamp I ever got. And thankfully, Stampin' Up! Has improved that some with having juicier pads. Used to have to push down harder on our pads to ink them up. With these, you don't have to do that so much, but because I learned with the old style, I tend to still do that. And then as your ink pad gets, you know, drier, you tend to do it too. And it also has something to do with how hard you press down on the stamp. Like for here, if I'm not getting quite the imagery I need, I gotta press harder. But this one, you can see how close the rubber is, so it's not having that problem miraculously. So if you just trim your rubber stamps close to the image, you can get as close as you want. Just don't get so close that you're cutting into the image, and then you won't have that problem. All right, let's do this one just a little bit. Cute. All right. me. Oh, I forgot. I need to do the sentiment. The sentiment I used on this one was from Queen of Fortune, sending 1,000 well wishes on your special day. I wanted to do that because I'm probably going to, you know, put this again, being a folder card, it's probably going to have some kind of a gift certificate or something in it. I'm not sending $1,000 to anyone, but I am sending 1,000 well wishes. I'm going to do this with cinnamon cider and Highland Heather. It's going to give us a really nice soft purple color, but not so dark that it's standing out from the cinnamon cider. So I'm just going to eyeball the words and get those on here with cinnamon cider. Okay, now I'm going to take my finger and just get any cinnamon cider that's there. I want that off because I don't want that on my Highland Heather pad for sure. If my Highland Heather gets into the cinnamon cider a little, that's probably going to be not that big a deal. I'll try not to let it happen. Okay, let's see how that went. Pretty good. I did mess up on a little bit, but I can fix it with a pen. And it's not going to show all that much because I'm going to, when you get finished, you're going to see there's going to be some ribbon on there. But I also wanted to put with this stamp one of the sentiments that is in our Honeybee Home one that I really love. So I'll show you how I did that. So glad we're family. Love that. So pretty. So we're going to do this, get those guys back into place. They're not cooperating with me. They're not really sticking in there. I must have this down the wrong direction. Okay, so glad we're family. That's this one. Let's get this out for now so I'm not struggling with that. We're doing the whole thing, and I do want this part to stand out, so I'm going to do that with purple. Our gorgeous grape. It's going to be very dark. This time I'm doing it really lightly. I do not want anything flubbing this part of it up. So we're going to go like right there. Okay. And now you've got, I tipped it. I wish it wasn't tipped, but when I cut it out with a die, it'll be fine. All right, because this, let me clean this. It's going to get cut out with, let me see, is this the one I used? Where are you, Belly? Yes, it is. It's this, I use this one a lot. Okay, so I can kind of tip it a little. I'm not going to too much, but that is what's going to cut that out. So let's go ahead, get out my cutting machine. I do need to color these though. Am I going to have time to? I do not know. Might have to just do this very quickly. With this, to get the same color as this, all of this, and my purple. I wanted some purple in it. What I ended up doing is using some of the Seaside Blue pen. Not Balmy Blue. Balmy Blue would work too, probably, but where are you, Seaside? There you go. Seaside Spray. So I'm going to just start with Seaside Spray. Let's get the pointy end, and maybe I'm going to use this darker side. This is just going to help get that from this DSP. It's going to bring in that color some. Again, not going with any particular color. Do you know, or kind of flower? I know there are campanulas that are tubular. They always go down. These are definitely pointing up, but they have come in lovely shades of blue and purple. Penstemon does come in pinks and reds. I don't think they come in blue. I don't know. Maybe, no, I'm wrong. There's an electric blue one. I forgot about that one. It was actually my favorite, but in a zone 5, it never came back, it seems like. I think I had it for a couple of years at best. It was probably the most beautiful penstemon I ever had. Electric blue. I know it grows in California. When we were there, we saw, so many beautiful, beautiful flowers in the Airbnb I was at. They didn't have hi, Aunt Connie. I didn't know you were there. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be ignoring you. They had, you can hear my voice is much better. I'm so glad. I will call you guys. My voice was like shot at the end of last week, totally gone. So I'm glad it's back today. I wasn't sure I'd be able to. Actually, it probably would have worked out. I would have shut up more and gone faster probably if I couldn't yap the whole time I'm doing this. But anyway, they had geraniums in this place. They weren't blooming much. They were a little. And some other plants, I could just tell. It would have been a really pretty garden there. Their crocosmia was blooming just like it was July. In the Tri-Cities, our crocosmia bloomed in July, late June, July. And then we also went to the South Coast Botanical Garden while we were there. And we only saw a very small portion of it because I didn't want to drag our poor family through a botanical garden. The point being you want them to love plants, not hate them. So we went because they had a really nice children's garden. The Airbnb lady is the one who told us about it. We didn't even know about it at all. She said it's a little known one here near Gardena. And Gardena actually has some really nice nurseries and gardens because it was started by Asian, Japanese, Hawaiian descent people. And they typically love gardens. So it was really, there are a lot of really nice yards and a lot of nice gardens there. I don't know if it would be more than other places. It could be. I don't really know. But this botanical garden was a gem. It was quite large, much bigger than I expected since it's not one that I've ever heard of. And I've read up on a lot. I've looked, all over, especially anywhere near our kids, wherever they've lived. I've always looked to see what's near them because I love plants, and Jeff doesn't mind going and looking at them with me. So I'd never heard of it. It had a wonderful little children's garden with, kind of maybe your typical storybook land type buildings and stuff, but it was really nicely done. They loved it. It was fun. There were enough variety of plants because they hadn't seen a lot of cactus, so that was fun for them. And, we just had a really good time. But we didn't see much of it. I think it's a giant one. And we stayed maybe an hour. I kind of am thinking we might not have stayed quite even as long as that. I just didn't want to push it. And I definitely knew Mary and I will be back in the future. Jeff might too, but I know Mary and I, if she stays there, Mary and I will be back to that botanical garden. There was a garden that we were going to go to. It's actually a nursery. And the people were so nice. It's very close to where my daughter lived, and called Sunflower Nursery. And they have it set up so that you can really enjoy the garden. They have it's very artistically set up, but it is a nursery, so you can buy plants. She said, I think the people here are so friendly. I think it'll be okay if we bring the little kids who are gonna, run around. And some nurseries don't like kids running around naturally. I mean, they can damage plants doing that. So I don't fault anyone for that. But she said, I think they would be okay with it. So because of all these things, you know, that we're seeing that seem very child friendly. So we went in and asked them if they would mind if we brought our, you know, 3 and 5-year-old along. And oh, they were, of course, do bring a picnic. Bring a picnic. And there's a picnic there. If you've been way in the back, in our back 5 acres are back there. And you can picnic back there. And we didn't end up doing it because we just didn't have time to do it because of some of the other things we did. But really neat people. It was nice. It was very nice. So we will be back to that too. And I took their gift card information because I'm probably, don't tell our daughter Mary, probably going to gift her some plants from that place. They were so nice. People don't realize how much money and customer base they're probably missing by being crabby. But if you're, you know, spent a lot of money on things, I can understand why. But on the other hand, you can't do that. So anyhow, I know my daughter's going to be using them quite a lot in the future. She was really happy with how nice they were because they talked to us about the plants. You know, we shared our enjoyment of the different varieties. They were just really nice. And we must have just happened to get there at a really good time because obviously if they'd had a bunch of customers, our experience would have been a little less because they would have not had the time to chat so much. But it was good. Then when I got home, I looked at our Friends of the Garden pass that we have. I knew there were other gardens that we could go to, but I didn't take it with us because I had left a whole bunch of my purse things, you know, at home, like extra credit cards and all. And thought, you dope, you should have taken this because we spent a bundle getting into that garden. Yeah, just because there were so many of us. And our Friends of the Garden pass would have gotten us in there free. It actually was one of their network of gardens. There's a few. So anyway, next time I'll remember to take my garden pass with me no matter where I go. You never know where a garden might be nearby that will be a member of its little family. But I just reminded myself, don't be hard on yourself. It's nice that they made some money on you because there weren't as beautiful a garden as it was. It was in the weekday, yes, but there weren't nearly as many people as there should have been. Every time I go to a garden, I just think, I am just stunned that so few people appreciate gardens like I do because I'm nothing special here. And yet it's a wonderful, generally fairly free place to go and marvel at God's nature, or just nature if you're not a believer. Anyway, it was good. Really good. So if you're down there, South Coast Garden, you will love it. South Coast Botanical Garden. It was really, really worth it. Well worth it. Oops, that's the dark one. You want light So Saffron. Now that was Seaside Spray and Purple Posy. Kind of sloppily done here. I would normally blend that in more like this, but I am feeling quite rushed. So I'm not really taking the time to do that. But normally I probably would. All right, so now we're going to do our last cutting out. And I will be finished with this card too. We did a couple of really cute ones. Didn't get to the what was it? The easel one. Did not get to the easel one, but that's okay. For me, anytime I can get 2 cards done, that's the miracle. Where are you? There you are. All right. So we'll get this label cut out first. My corner right there, maybe I'll move it over. I kind of want it to be centered though. Very cute. And then we'll cut out our flowers. The sun is so bright outside. It looks so nice. Our snow is melting wonderfully. Wow, I can see some grass out there now. My goodness, it must be warm. Oh, wow. I'm a little shocked. Our trash guys were supposed to come on Friday, and our trash is out. They never showed up. And so I said, okay, they must be coming. That was a day that was a snow day. Jeff had 3 snow days where there was no school, and, you know, a lot of people probably stayed home. So I thought, okay, they just decided not to come out because it's pretty bad. And so, trash people, they have to go into the worst places. So it was actually really nice on our street, but who knows? So I said, Saturday, I'm sure they'll be. Well, they didn't show up on Saturday. So I called this morning, and they said, yeah, the trash guys weren't able to get out to very many places on Friday. We're terribly sorry. So I said, so when are they coming out? And she said, well, they're not going to be able to. They did the best they could, and you know they'll pick up 2 weeks worth on Friday. And I sat in stunned silence for a moment to accentuate the fact that I was not pleased. And then I said, oh, okay. And I hung up. So I thought, well, what do I do with that? I can't make them come out, and I'm not going to be nasty with you on the phone about it, but that's totally unacceptable. So, because the roads are fine, and you can just get out here and pick them up. I know you can do it. Anyway, so I just sent an email and said that's totally unacceptable, and I want it picked up today. Of course, I know that's useless. They're not going to be out here today. Our trash is out there. In the email, I also noted that our trash is fine. We were gone, you know, sometimes, but it's just Jeff and I, so we don't have a ton of trash. It's not that big a deal for us, but down the street, there are families, and their trash is like overflowing now, seriously overflowing. I don't want to see trash down the street like that for another week before it gets picked up. I just thought that it is not acceptable for you to just say you aren't going to pick it up for a week just because you weren't able to get out on one day. That's not how it works. Anywhere else we've been, it got picked up. So anyhow, we'll see. We'll see if my email gets replied to. I'll be surprised if they even reply. And then I might call and say, okay, how much will you charge me for you to come and pick? Because I know they'll do that. They'll come out if you have something to pick up. They'll come out and pick it up. So I know they're perfectly capable of doing it. So I'm thinking, how much will you charge me? And while you're getting mine, you can get all of the neighbors for free, right? So anyhow, we'll see if I end up making that call. It depends on how much trash starts piling up down there where the neighbors are. Okay, we have to drive by there. If there was a bit different way to drive and I just didn't even have to look at it. In Springfield here, there are several trash companies. It's a wonderful thing, you would think, because there's enough competition. You would think that they would not be able to do this, because some of us would say, okay, guess I'm done with that one and I'm going to the other one. But when we moved here, the realtor told us that no, you don't want to do those other ones. These are the other, I think, 2 or 3 options. You don't want them. They're not very good. So I don't know that we have any options, but we might. might be able to call one of the competition and say, okay, I know it's not your brand out there, but that's the one I'm paying you to come and get today. And then I'm going to take your fee and not expect payment, but send it to this company and say, this is who would come and get our trash, and we might be considering them in the future as our potential trash people. All right, so we've got that, and I did want to cut out Purple Posy just a couple of these sprigs, because I can do them right here really quick in one pass. Okay, we'll put the big one there. These are the 2 sprigs. There is a leaf sprig, but I'm not doing the leaf sprig. But there is a leaf sprig also. That would be pretty cute. All right, I'm running that through pretty good because they're small, little small stems sometimes they don't cut out as well in one pass. Those did really nicely, didn't they? All right, that's that. Oh, wait, no, I think I have one more. You know what I did? I wanted this actually with cinnamon cider, and I wanted the smaller one. Oh, I already did the cinnamon cider. I don't know where you are, but I know I already did you. And I need the smaller one with this, so I wonder if it'll fit. Let's see. It probably will. It is going to be close. Oh, very close, but it is going to fit. Okay, this is Scalloped Contours, remember. You're not going to see my words here, but they are going to show. They'll be up in the scalloped area, but they will show. Haha. All right, perfect. And you have a nice little frame, sort of, if you accidentally do what I just did. All right, so now we are at assembly and done. Don't leave. I think I'm going to just show and tell and then let you go because this has taken so long. So here is this little thing. Now I'm going to stick this on, but I had to do it kind of a different, special way. So let me show you really quick here what I did. This again, it's our belly band, right? Where's my extra ribbon? Ah, there it is. So I'm going to take, after it's on the card, I'm going to take this, get my string, my cord that I'm trying to keep our camera alive with. Here, I know it's dangling partially, but you'll have to just live with it, with me. All right, so you're gonna, after you get this belly band on the card, I've got one side where I stitched it that's got some attached, and I'm gonna use that. Actually, this is on the underside though, so we can get rid of this. This is just where I had it knotted. I don't need that on there, so we'll get that off. And you could put this to the back if you don't like that. I actually didn't mind having the little, you know, I thought it was kind of cute. I didn't really mind having this little seam almost here. Because, and that's where I put the ribbon. But I doubled it up, got it nice and loose, loosey-goosey, did a bow, stuck that on there. I also took another piece of it, and wrapped it around. I might have gotten enough to wrap around 2 times. You want, might have done a third, but you want to wrap it around unless you're really happy with your stitching. I wrapped it around. You could wrap it and just tie it in a bow. That would work too. For convenience's sake, we'll just do that this time. Tie it in a bow. But it's not going to look as good as my nice big fluffy bow. Just going to tell you that right now. All right, so there's that. Let's get the other one out so you can see how the difference is. You know, if you have more thread and you double it up, like I said, it's going to look like a nicer bow. So there you go. Don't like this one as well. But the main thing, I want to keep this up here. In fact, it's not tied on good enough. I just wrapped it. I wrapped it and used a glue dot to make sure it stayed down, and then did a separate bow and then stuck the bow on with a glue dot. That actually works better because you need this stuff to be on there good before you start messing around with this label, because for the label, since I want this up high, this part needs to go down underneath and be glued on. This part needs to go right here under, I guess I am going to have to turn it around because that's not going to work. I wanted it under the lace. Okay, so this part of the label is going to be glued right here under the lace. Let me show you, because this particular die has these cuts in them, and you could use a die that doesn't have those, and it might actually be a little easier for you to work with. But just here at the top, just a little bit of glue. Not enough for it to be leaking out on the sides. You're going to stick that right underneath this ribbon, the lace, so that the lace is like right on the top. Okay, looks pretty good. You can still see your words through it. It's cute. And then you're going to take your glue and just stick it on the back of your label like this. A little bit right there where that is as well. And then this goes underneath that, right where you want it. Okay. All right, so now that makes a very nice, secure slider. It's going to slide off and on to your card really easily, either direction, up from that way or like from this direction, doesn't really matter. Okay, I'm going to stick it on, make sure it's all nice and straight. Okay, that's pretty good. Then you can take your flowers and layer them on however you want. I only used one of those. I used one of these. I also used my ginkgo from my other set down, but you wouldn't need to. It's still pretty cute. You put your little bees all on here however you want. Just make sure you're adhering them to the flowers and to the label only. Don't adhere it at all to this part because you want it to be able to slide off and on really easily. And then on the inside, I put this one here, and I put these there, I put little bees there, that there. Okay, so that, oops, not that way, it goes like that and that and that, and then this goes on here like this, and there you go. So we did that card and that card today. Thank you so much for watching. This was kind of a long one. I think I'm just relishing being back in Springfield, back from vacation. I feel wonderful that I got to see my grandkids so much. I do miss our kids a lot, and I miss our grandkids and my son-in-law, and it's just it was really nice to be able to see them for a good length of time, and hopefully we'll be able to get to see them again. Oops, camera. Oh man, I can't believe I tipped the camera, like, wow. Usually it just goes berserk when I even tip it a tiny bit. I think I had my hand so it could actually see the palm. That must be the key. Don't put your hand so close to the screen or the lens that it only sees black, because then it senses that it's moving. If it can actually focus on my hand, I think I'm set. I think we just had a real woohoo moment, and I didn't even know it until just now. All right, thanks again for watching with me. I appreciate it. My glasses are not only dirty, they're kind of dark because it's so bright coming in from outside because of our snow. Look at that. Pretty sweet deal. All that nice dry ground to drive on. And if I like to get out there and make a snowman, if my kids were here and small, we would have done it already. That would be great. Thanks a lot again. I think that's it. I will be back next week. I'm going to have to do one video on my own and just post it on one of these weeks because Jeff has a Monday off and we're going to go do something. So when that happens, I will be here, and that one I guess will get on time. It will be on right at 1 since I'll be able to set that one to go when it should. But I'll try to do better next week. I'm just not sure what happened today. Thanks again. I'll see you later. Bye.